This is another attempt to help the global community at large in the effort to curtail the spread of coronavirus. And many actions have been taken, many other have been advised, and we following the news. And by the news, I mean the legitimate news that actually make an effort to have professionals, doctors, researchers to come and talk to us about what's going on, what to do, and how to go about it. Like I stated last time, is every one of us have to make their personal effort in the way possible they can do it. Anything they ever learn, if it's in academia, it's in technology, it's in practices, any way possible, in languages that you can help to spread the good news, to also advise on to what we can do better in order to avoid the calamity if this is not already it. But again, there's always room for improvement and we can do better. On that note, before I start, I'd like to make a slight change, or maybe not change, correction onto something I said last time when I say the city of New York has 52 billion as far as a balanced budget. That was a slip of the tongue because I did the research myself, and the budget, after review and approval of the 2020 fiscal year budget, which is actually a balanced budget, is actually $94.4 billion. $94.4 billion. Why it matters? We come to it. The state of New York is about 117, around, when I say around, I don't have the exact number in front of me, $117 billion in balanced budget for the fiscal year 2020. That's 1920. Well, we'll go by fiscal year. It's not like from December to December. It's about from October or April. So then it's going to be from 2 years, which is like from 2019 to 2020. Okay. So that being said, I'm trying to make the point that we have enough money to really take drastic measure. And I was called drastical or making drastic. And by the way, my family say that I'm exaggerating the impact of this issue. I'm being drastic about the impact of this issue. And I say, yes, I am drastic, and we have to be drastic. Desperate situation calls for desperate measures. We have to take desperate measures. The point I'm trying to get at is that I'm against school clothing. When I say school clothing, grade school to high school, either public or private, grade school to high school. So small schools, not colleges, they're closing. The difference between that and colleges is this. College students knows all across almost the world, especially here in the United States, how to use a computer. So if you give them a laptop, they know how to use it. And then college, and about 95% of the college students are self-disciplined and know that at the point where they have made great commitment to be at that point, and they're going to do the work to finish school, either an associate degree or a bachelor's degree. But a high school kid, elementary school kid, grade school kid, how disciplined can they be to be home and do their homework or study online? Not much so. Not much so. What kids like the most or like best is not to go to school. I didn't want to go to school when I was a kid. No kids wants to go to school. I remember one time I asked my son, but why your school say you're not coming to school tomorrow? He said, but daddy, are you kidding me? Who's going to bother asking why nobody tell me to come to school tomorrow? I don't come to school tomorrow. That's what matters. So for them, it's an opportunity to go around, play around, and what kids do best. We are even lucky that the children are less affected by this virus than the adult that we are. And if the kid were really much affected like the adult community is, we would have been in big trouble. Why? Because these kids do what kids do. Jump around, go around, touch anything that is not a business, go to anybody that is not a business, go to places that where they're not supposed to be, anytime, any day. And that they do it best when they have a break from school. How many children will be able to be contained in a household outside of school? The burden that also going to take on parents. How many parents are capable of educating their children, know even how to read or to write, much less understand what the child's doing? When the child take a book and look at it, and the mother passing by, and the mother doesn't know how to read, the mother cannot understand if that child doing homework or not. Even if the government give computers to these kids, which they're not doing, the government, I mean the federal government, the state government, the city government, and here I'm talking about the city of New York, because always I take the example of the city of New York because, like I said, it's the biggest, the largest metropolis by population in the United States of America. So it matters that we start from New York because it can be a great example that other cities, smaller cities can follow. And we are the richest one for that matter. And like I said, to put in perspective, New York City is the second largest, the second richest city in the world after Tokyo, Japan. New York City, not by budget, but as far as our assets, New York City GDP is larger than that of the whole country of Canada. Well, now you understand how rich is New York City. And now, DOE, which is Department of Education in New York City, has 24.4% of the income of the 94.4%, which is almost 1/3, not yet, but almost 1/3 of the whole budget of the city of New York. The point I'm trying to make is there's enough money, either from the DOE or from the city itself or the state government, before even you wait for subsidies from the federal government. There's enough money for every child from K to 12, because that's how we're saying K to 12. From K to 12 to have a laptop, a notebook, a Chromebook, whatever way we can afford it. And we got this great company, Dell Computer, Microsoft, Asus, and Apple. All these companies can support us if we want to have that initiative. Well, is it too late? It's never too late to make it right. My daughter go to a school in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, called the school is called Nicolet. I want to mention that, Nicolet High School. My daughter told me that they are giving every student that come in high school, from freshman to senior year, they are given a laptop. Either the Chromebook, whatever it is, as long as they can get their homework done. So that, even before the coronavirus, that's what they did in anticipation of this. So now, if you send these kids home, they have no resources because they have no computers. And if they have it, they don't know how to use it, or most of the parents don't know how to help them. New York is a city of immigrants. So most of the immigrants here are here and now learning English. The parents barely can speak English. Their children, sometimes when you go to their houses, the children translate for them. The children as young as 3, 4, 5 years old. How are these kids supposed to use the computer and study online and have a distant learning? That is a conundrum. Should I talk about it? It's not the moment to do it. I heard about the teachers' union pressuring the city, the mayor, de Blasio, in order to shut down schools, which he did now. But again, the teachers, that's to you. This is not the moment in which you're going to use that leverage. I've always think of the teachers as being the true heroes in life. Because you know what? Either you're a great soldier, you are an MI6 from England, or you are the Mossad from, Israel, or you are the, CIA over here, or maybe SEAL Team 6, or, the Green Beret, whatever you may be, because that's what we call hero, military. So before you are there, you are given initial education of initial arithmetic of 1 + 1 = 2, initial Cartesian plan. So you learn this basic thing by your grade school teacher, or kindergarten teacher, or preschool teacher. So therefore, the true heroes, to me, are the teachers, grade school teachers. So you guys, grade school teachers, why using this opportunity not to showcase of your strength that you have already demonstrated throughout the years? to stand up to this war that been mentioned. And this is not a war to go kill someone, but it's a war to actually save people. These very children that you, the teacher, refuse to go teach for the fear of being contaminated are the one that in about 5, 10, or 20 or 30 years later going to be fighting the next virus spread, the next epidemic, the next pandemic, or the next endemic. These are the ones that you're teaching now. So we can't just jeopardize our future by refusing to teach these kids or telling these kids take draconian measures with regard to political correctness and send these kids home to parents who cannot help them, or for a city that cannot help them, the state cannot help them. I think it's not the right policy right now to make to send the kids home. Well, people who have a better platform than me, people who are higher regarded than me, have argued against my opinion. Notably, the President Obama's Secretary of Education, Secretary Duncan. How I know that? I saw him on CNN. Is it CNN or MSNBC? Because that's the two channels I watch the most. Actually telling that the school in Chicago going to be closed and so on and so on. So from one city to another, the mayors are taking this decision. Certain cities I may not know what are their potentials. But New York City, by the grace of God, you have enough money not to send these poor kids home. This is what I suggest. Make it mandatory for all kids to take school bus. Why? Because it can be better controlled. The yellow buses are only for school students, so I cannot get on it no matter how much I pay. By the way, there's no way to pay in there. You have to have your school ID in order to get in for the school you're going to. And all the school, the students are known. So high school from senior year, I'm talking from up to down, in decreasing order, to K. Those who take buses to go to school have to take yellow buses to go to school. These are some measures, some change that we can do in the school system that I believe will help better. That's my suggestion, against the fact that we keep the children home. So they all take school buses. At the entrance of school buses, we have testing kits, testing kits that they use to make sure the bus driver himself go through or everybody come into. Now, who's going to be doing that? Well, the school nurse, whoever is it, we have the resources. We have even student nurses who don't even know if they're going to get a job. We got people in the nursing home who are looking for a better job. We have the resources. We got 8 million people in New York City. 8 million people. We have the nurse. And I volunteer without being paid to do this kind of job if it needs be for our future, to save our children. To scan them, they get on the bus. They go straight to school without touching anything else, go to school. But again, like I said last time, this bus, initially, prior to the kids getting the bus, have been sanitized. Cleanly sanitized. The school itself the children are going to have been sanitized overnight before the children come in. And that's the opportunity for me to mention something I saw last time on ABC 7 News. Yes, I mentioned this name because it matters. If they're doing the effort to work hard, it's necessary to mention them so we can support them. So ABC 7 showed on Saturday, ITS, Environmental Service Inc. For what I understand is a crime scene cleaner. So when there's crime scene investigation, after they've done the investigation, they're the one that clean the place. So they know their job. And the number is 855-872-824. The city can hire these guys. And again, I volunteer to work with them without a dime. They can hire them to clean thoroughly the buses, the schools, before the kids go into them. The school staff, the working staff, from the janitor to the principal, everybody also is cleaning in the morning before getting the bus. The children in the classroom in environment, yes, that's congregating more than 5 people. That congregating more than 10 people, which I argued against last time. In this case, we're talking about children who are in school in a controlled environment and been tested, so they're presumably not likely to spread viruses. I also understand that incubation time can be 7 to, 14 days, 1 to 2 weeks. Until then, they presume being clean or negative because we test them. And if we find a case, we isolate that child. A child that we test before getting the bus, we find a case, we isolate that child. The children that walk to school, when they get to the school, they're tested. When they find out to be positive for any chance, God forbid, we don't send them back home. We keep them in isolation and try to treat them the best way we can. That's one aspect. So I believe the teachers, I think the effort you have done through our life, helping all of us, me included, to be able today to be speaking to you in front of a camera is because you were there to help me read A, B to Z. You were there to help me count 1, 2 to 1,000. You were there to help me understand because you don't teach only the curriculum provided, but you also teach life. You also teach us how to have some manners, how to speak to people, how to address our friends, and we so on and so forth. I remember my daughter, she was in kindergarten. She come home and she has something and she says something. I don't remember now because I'm probably old and she's now a big woman. And I said, no, that's not the way it goes. She said, oh, Daddy, that's not the way you go. You don't know. My teacher says so. And that's what we want. We want our teachers to be the one educating our children. And I teach my children all the time. If we don't trust the teachers, we won't send you to them. Most of the time, the teachers spend more time with our children than we do. So we have to give the teachers this regard. And you teachers, please, this is our responsibility. We are war. You are on the front line. You are the soldiers. You are that Marine Corps. You are that, Navy SEAL. You are that Green Beret today. But now, in your unit, your uniform is not camouflage. It's clear because your battle is in clarity. Your battle here today is to save life, not to kill any other things. Well, not to criticize the military, but what I'm trying to say here is that I think you are primordial. Your effort is primary before any other effort that we can do, because without you, we can make that effort. Every weapon that's been designed for warfare, every plane that we design for warfare, for all technology that we're using today, is because you, the teachers, taught that 1 + 1 = 2. That's why we got great mathematicians, great minds, great people to drive this world forward. So this is an appeal direct to you. Now, like I said, the city of New York have the resources to do these things. The city of New York has the resources to do this thing. The country of the United States of America has the resources to do these things. And when we do it, like we have always done, we're going to take the lead in teaching people how to go about things and do it. Like I said, we can clean the city. Now that the city of Hoboken, which I salute, the mayor of Hoboken, which is across the Hudson River, you take the Hannah Tunnel, the Lincoln Tunnel, only 2 minutes, you are in Hoboken, Weehawken, and so on and so forth. Hoboken shut down. Now you have a curfew from 8 in the evening to 5 o'clock in the morning. Okay? Well, continue on that note. It's a good thing. The mayor of New York considering that, which is going to be tougher because 8 million people is not like Hoboken, where it's like a little village cluster right there between Jersey City and Weehawken. So I understand that this is too much, but it's drastic because the situation is dire. Yeah, maybe I use a drastic word, but that's what it is. It is dire. Like I said, 1 person died of coronavirus is 1 person too many. And so far, if I'm not mistaken, we are about 4 deaths and about 400 and something number of cases of contaminated people. And now probably I can use the rest of my minute to talk to health facilities. The health facilities, I think expanding your facility, your pavilion, might be tough for some of you guys, but most of you guys have the ability because you got parking spaces that was used before by doctors, nurses, and so on and so forth. You may not have a physical building that you can build right away, but at least some pavilion that you can have, like a military can help in that because they know best how to do that. The Corps of Engineer of the Army or the military help doing that, which we have already, what do you call that, National Guard right here in, what do you call the place again, New Rochelle, New Rochelle in the north of New York City. So we can have the same people coming and help in constructing some pavilion that especially dedicated to people who may test positive for this case, unfortunately. As always, let's sit together. Please like this and trying to share it as much as you can, and actually follow me. And a suggestion I'm waiting for, and to better do those things. I don't know it. We're learning from each other as we go. And like I said, every information I found and what I discussed is not something, all of them are not based on research. The research information, I'll tell you, I did the first research myself. I'm putting out there. But most of the information, I get them from either watching news or reading news. And anytime I do that, I'm going to quote the sources I get it from. And one last thing, please refrain from sharing things that you don't know the actual source it comes from. It may be true. It may be wrong. We don't know that for a fact. But until you verify something that you can quote, and you can just stand by when somebody asks you how this happened, do not share it. Do not quote it. Only quote what you can defend. Only quote where you can send people to go find out the sources. So when you make comments, any question, I don't know them, I'm going to make sure I'm making my duty to go find out. The difference is I have at least few people that I can contact, that I can talk to, that are expert at these things, that can let us know. So in my quality of a human being, that's sort of quality I have. I think I have the ability and I'm mandated to just share whatever I know, the little bit I know, so then together we can make this life better. May God protect us. May science guide us.